catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.
I'm going to get this out the way, and we're going to get this thing going so you can actually see me, and we can get going. So hello. Today we laid back, y'all. Today we laid back, nothing fancy. It's been a long day. It's been a long day for me. All right. And so we just want you to know that we are excited that you are here because this is important. This is important. And we have a lot of shows coming up, a lot of people, and we thank you for your follows. We just want to give you some housekeeping rules while you're here and just remind you what we're all about, okay? So this is story time, right? In case you've never been here before, story time is where human beings connect, all right, through life experiences, okay? So we're going to ask you to like, share, and comment, and we're normally here 8 o'clock on Wednesdays and 9 p.m. on Sundays, right? And we have a few special editions here and there, all right? And the main thing we want to ask you to do when you come by is like, all right, and share with about 5 friends. All right. So if you're on any other platform, we want to tell you to come on over to the YouTube channel. Come on over to the YouTube channel. The information could help you save somebody in your family. Okay. And it doesn't cost you anything to be supportive. We want to tell you to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Okay. And then we're going to give you the information for Miss Pebbles, and we're going to tell you to do the same thing for her too. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to bring my guests on up right now, and we're going to get straight into this because we don't have no time to waste because this is important stuff, y'all. So we got to get busy. All right. Hey, how you doing today, Miss Pebbles?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing good. I need to get this lighting a little bit better. I tried to call myself fixing it, and then I don't like what I see here. You know, I was telling you about lighting, and then I don't like my lighting, and I'm trying to see how to fix this thing here. You know, what's going on? How was your day?
I had a pretty smooth day. I enjoyed church service earlier and just been resting for the most part. I'm busy doing a lot on various social media platforms, so I wanted to try to get some rest today, away from that for just a bit before I get back into it.
Yes. Well, I want to say thank you so much. I see you online. I met a lot of people online, watching them post and do what they do. And you know, in 2025, you might see anything online. Anything.
Yes.
We see everything online. But what you post is what I call very, very powerful important information, because you're posting stuff that help people to really, really find a loved one, find their family member, find people, and you're talking about stuff that doesn't get talked a lot. And I really want to get into it because a lot of people don't realize that for our culture and our race, it's happening more than we know, and they don't
Mhm.
realize the statistics. So I really want to get into it. So before we do that, I just want to give you the opportunity to introduce yourself, say your name, where you from, and tell us a little bit about who you are before you even got here. Because you started out as a little girl. I don't know if you were originally from Gary or you just moved there, but just give us a little of your history. All right.
Okay. Well, my name is Pebbles Wilson. I am the executive news producer of Missing, Lost, and Trafficked. And I'm also the executive news producer for Lured, Lost, and Unsolved, which is a Facebook media page that you're going to find only exclusively on Facebook that I run. Whereas we highlight a lot of cold cases on that Facebook media page. Just to let you know how you can follow, there is a Missing, Lost, and Trafficked Instagram. There is a Missing, Lost, and Trafficked Facebook page. There is Missing, Lost, and Trafficked on Patreon. Missing, Lost, and Trafficked Instagram. We have a Missing, Lost, and Trafficked on TikTok, and Missing, Lost, and Trafficked on Snapchat. I am originally from Gary, Indiana. Lived there for many years. So a native of Gary, Indiana. I'm proud to be from Gary, Indiana. I'm an 80s baby, and I had not been reporting on missing persons or victims of homicide and all sorts of incidents regarding violent crime for a very long time. It's been a little bit over 4 years now. And in terms of how I got into reporting on these sorts of topics and incidents after the homicide of a very close cousin of mine took place several years ago on the west side of Chicago. And I received a call that traumatized me around 4 a.m. It, in an indirect way, walked me into my calling because I had just gotten my master's degree from DePaul University in communications at the time. And I was just trying to figure out what would be my next move in terms of ultimately what type of reporter I wanted to be, or I aimed to be after earning my master's degree in journalism. And so, in a nutshell, in terms of it was a very traumatic experience that opened my eyes up, and I believe that a higher power unveiled to me or showed me, oh, this is what you are destined to do, if that makes
Mm.
sense. Yes.
Wow. Wow. So I'm so sorry to hear about the homicide that caused this. And a lot of times, sometimes we do have a personal experience that kind of pushes us into an area that we might not want to go into. So that explains why you started doing it. And then I'm sure your experience with the situation with your family member kind of contributed to it because of the lack of information or lack of assistance. I mean, was it things like that that kind of made you go, you know what, there is definitely a need in this area because there's not enough people. There's not enough people answering questions, and they kind of sit there, you know. So
Yes.
tell me, when you were a little girl, did you watch CSI and Law and Order and all that good stuff?
As a child, not as much. I was more so into the horror movies, I would say, in terms of that aspect of it. Scary movies, true crime, as far as true crime is concerned, like those suspenseful movies, whereas somebody's out unalive and people are doing certain things, and then you're trying to figure out the mystery, right, of it all to
Right.
the end, and you're just on the edge. You're just trying to figure out, well, who's responsible for all this. So those were the sort of movies that I was more, I would say, drawn to as a child. And then going into my adult years, as true crime shows really developed on television, it was the ID channel. I remember spending a lot of time watching the ID channel and learning about how criminals go about committing crimes and just all the things that they do to try to avoid being, incriminating themselves, and learning about forensics. I thought that was really interesting. I still believe it's interesting. Just all the different things that forensics experts do, right, to figure out who committed a crime, whether it is an essay violation against someone, physical assault, worst case scenario, homicide, and learning about all these different strategies, learning about what investigators do in terms of criminal investigators do, and the line of questioning. I spent a lot of time looking at interrogations, and so I still from time to time watch interrogations. That helps me a lot when I'm speaking to people and interviewing different people, especially if they're, so I would say, on quote, not official persons of interest, but, people believe that they may have done something and I'm speaking to them, watching the type of rapport that these investigators, right, seasoned detectives build with various individuals to pull out information that they wouldn't have otherwise shared. I believe all of those things that I've watched has really educated me a lot, and it's just been a guide, I would say, in what I do right now. I can't hear you.
So sorry.
It's okay.
How did you go about getting the people in the industry to take you serious? Like, was it a challenge to do that when you made the decision to do this? How did you go about introducing yourself to the media, to the world? What step did you take when you made this choice that you wanted to go this route?
I would say I didn't have a master plan or anything of that nature. There was a young girl in terms of how my start of missing, lost, and trafficked that had been reported missing in Gary, Indiana. I was in Gary, Indiana at the time, and I decided to get in my car and go live and go to the scene that she was reported missing at. I was by myself, sure was, in Gary, Indiana, and there were some people concerned about that. But I would do a lot of things of that nature in terms of going around, driving around, looking for people while live. And so I went live. I went to the area she was last seen at. I walked around. I talked to people at a gas station, just random people. I looked in abandoned buildings, literally looking to see if I saw anything strange. And I continued. I was not successful that day with finding this young teen, but I stayed persistent with it. She had been missing more than 6 months. She had been missing half a year by the time she was finally located. I reached out to a police department, and I called the police myself once her father gave me some information regarding, her phone and where she last, the area he believed she was in when she last spoke with him. And I even I pleaded with the officers to ping her phone. Wow. And they did it. They actually pinged the phone. They were unsuccessful at the time, but I still didn't give up. It's me just being persistent. I would not give up reporting on this child, because when her father disclosed to me that he thought his daughter was no longer with us, right, that she was not alive, and he was having those feelings, and it just drove me even more. Wow. And because I believe because I just would not give up looking into this case, eventually she She actually commented on it was almost a year of this girl being missing. It was flyers and stuff all around Gary, Indiana. And she commented on my page. I had irritated her poor little soul. And I'm not missing. And she went on commented on my page. And then she ended up reaching out to her father. Well, he was elated because he thought, look, imagine you're just wondering if your child is alive. He was getting these weird messages and stuff, and he wasn't sure if it was her, but he felt if it was her, there was somebody else manipulating and controlling, the situation to keep her away for as long as they did. But she did reconnect, and she let it be known because she got sick and fed up with that. Pebbles is not. She's not gonna stop talking about me. She's not gonna stop posting me on these different places.
Wow.
Something gonna shake or break or bake or something's gonna happen here. And so, I digress for right now. But yeah, that is in terms of me having a plan. It wasn't a plan. It was over time. I would say as I reported on more missing people and I had different experiences, there were a lot of lessons that I learned while reporting on missing, especially missing teens and that sort of thing. And establishing credibility was very important. Then over time, I began to earn more and more respect from law enforcement, from trust from the community. But it was not me being I'm a Black female. First of all, I'm not on CNN, I'm not on Fox News, I'm not connected to any large organizations, I'm independent, so to speak. So there's a lot of mistrust for somebody like me. So I had to really, 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 really work hard to establish credibility.
So let me ask you on that note. So, so what do you think was your breaking point? What was it that you think gave you that credibility? Was it finding a missing child? Was it just being consistent? What do you think it was that made the people in Gary, Indiana begin to say, call Pebbles, somebody missing, I'm calling Pebbles? What was it?
Well, it was not just in Indiana because that's what was where I started. My first case was an Indiana case, Gary, Indiana. But there were other cases, whereas, for instance, there were teens missing in different cities and states who had been missing for months, weeks. Other people had reported on these teens, on adults missing for, when I say months, some of them missing more than 8-9 months.
Wow.
That's how long a lot of these teens, adults, I'm talking about all ages, had been missing. And it was something about my strategy. It was something about when I went live and I hosted these, I still host them, 50 state alerts. And it was something about me encouraging people to share in every single state and me making sure that I wanted to make sure that these people were trending that's missing on different social media platforms, not just Facebook. It was something about the information that I gather because I do a lot of digging. And I always say, just saying they're missing is not going to be enough. It's never going to be enough. It's enough for a lot of people, but for some people, you kind of got to get in their business or you'll never figure out what's going on and they'll never be found, or they may never reach out if they are what we call voluntarily missing. They'll never, and a lot of that goes on, they'll never reach out. So it's just the way I went about doing things. Reaching out to the police departments, these people were being found. Long story short, there were family members of these missing people of all ages, parents they had already spoken to the news. They may have already spoken to other podcasters, and then they talked to Pebbles at Missing, Lost and Trafficked after they hadn't seen their kid in 3 months or more. Pebbles post their kid, post a 50 stay alert, and within maybe 72 hours, even after the kid's been missing for weeks or months, we were seeing that happening. The kid is resurfacing. And I would, or adult, I told a aunt of an adult man that had gone missing, I said, if he's not dead, I told her that if he's not dead, and I gave a timeline, and I stand on scripture a lot of times at times too. So that helps me as well.
I do too. So hit him with the scripture. I love it. I love it.
I said, if he's not dead, he's turning up, and I gave a timeline. I would ask God to make something happen, and I would declare that it was going to happen within 3 days, a week. And within that time frame, he reached out. She couldn't believe it. I said, if he's going to reach out to you, and he's going to want me to take these posts down, and he did. There were some things he had personally going on in his life. Ashamed, didn't want the family to know what he had going on. And he reached out just like I said.
Wow. So if y'all don't know about it, I'm gonna hit you with a scripture because she said scripture. Now you up in my house when you say that. So there's a scripture that says faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. So there's another scripture that says you got to speak those things into the distance, as though they already were. So when you started speaking it like that, and you started saying they showing up in 3 days, that's why it manifested like that, because you put it out in the atmosphere, and so that's a beautiful thing. So let's talk about this for a minute. You got 3 categories. You have missing, lost, and human trafficking. Now, let's first talk about missing, because that's important. Now, a lot of times parents, like you said, there are some individuals that get voluntarily missing. They want to be grown. They want to do what they want to do. They want to go where they want to go. They want to be who they want to be. And they don't have permission, so they kind of slide out the door. And then the parents don't realize they really weren't missing. They just left. They wanted to go handle their business. So there's a timeline a lot of times. Are you able to give individuals that timeline? Because there's a certain amount of time that you can't even call the police until it's a certain amount of time. Can you talk about that for a moment?
Generally, when someone goes missing, so say you stop hearing from Bob at 2:00 and you want to go down to the police station at 4:00 and you want to report Bob missing because you just have a gut feeling that something is wrong. Police will discourage you from reporting someone missing less than 24 hours, right? After a time that you feel that they should have contacted you, whichever time that is, or that you lost contact with them. However, if it's been a few hours, like I would say more than 8 hours, and especially if Bob or Sue or Sally, whoever it is, if they're living with you, if they speak to you typically regularly, if you have some vested interest with each other, that sort of thing, then I would encourage you to press the issue about getting a police report filed. I'm told if you press the issue about it, then they'll go ahead and file it. They'll give you a hard time about it. It's between a 24 or 48 hour time span. A lot of police like to wait before, or have you wait before filing a police report, because so many people, they go missing for different reasons. They could just be upset about something and walked off or whatever. But if it's a child, of course, they're less inclined to tell you to wait 24 hours if it's an underage child. But in terms of adults, that's a problem that a lot of people have with reporting adults missing. They generally try to discourage you and really make you wait 24 hours before they take that report. Yeah.
What about the loss? Now, a lot of times the loss, I've seen a lot of loss because of like dementia, Alzheimer's, people, older
Mhm.
people, or children. Sometimes a small child too young getting off the bus. Is it easier to file in those cases when they are, having a mental illness or really, really young? Is it easier then?
Developmental, um, I would say anyone with a developmental disability or a mental or emotional disability, police, they're going to be more receptive. They're going to possibly take the report right away. They'll possibly get officers out and get some people on ground, at least canvassing the area right away when it is someone in a vulnerable state, an older individual. You don't have to be an older individual that's suffering from memory loss. You could just be an older, vulnerable individual, that
Yeah,
generally walks on a cane or walker or something like that. Yeah, they're going to get some people out there and they're going to be more on top of it in terms of putting more effort into helping than
yeah.
they are when you're considered to be, or the missing person is considered to be an able body, or you would consider able body, I would say, um, mentally, emotionally stable individual. Yes.
That's good. Now,
Yeah.
I will say this, Pebbles. It seems as though a lot in the last 2 years or so, it's been a lot of missing people. I've seen a lot of missing African American guys. Do you see a pattern? Do you see something happening?
Well, from what I'm saying, that more and more people seem to be going missing every day. Every wow, I would say it's it's like every 5 to 10 seconds, just on Facebook alone. Not counting how many reports are going out right now as we speak. In every other post, every 5 to 10 seconds, there's a new post from a person that I've never seen before saying, please help me. When I say every few seconds, from somewhere around the country or around the world. And I know this to be true because the way my algorithm is set up and the different groups and what I do, I'm going to, when I'm on my feed is going to look a lot different from someone else's feed. And that's how I know how frequent there is a new post every 5 to 10 seconds from somebody's aunt, from somebody's mother, from somebody's husband, et cetera, et cetera. Please help me, please help me, please help me, please help me, please help me. And you get, please help me. It's that frequent.
Wow.
So, and there's an
Wow.
uptick in that. And it's not a certain demographic of people, really. I mean, you have mostly underage children. Yes, you're seeing more of that than anything, but adults are going missing more frequently because of the instability that people have in their lives. A lot of people are are less financially stable. They're dealing with different sorts of addictions.
Mm.
They are struggling with mental illnesses, which contribute to a lot of that, a lot of what you're saying. These
Wow.
unexplained disappearances. Yes.
Now, two in the last 5 years, the dating scene has gotten to be a lot bigger online. A lot
Yes.
more people are meeting people they don't know. And do you feel as though a lot of those numbers are coming from those areas for people meeting up with strangers and not vetting the people? And do you think a lot of those cases statistically show that a lot of those are happening in those areas?
I don't have the numbers in front of me per se, but I did do some research and I learned that um, I will refer to them as online date app groomers. These date app groomers, they are doing a really good job of luring young women. These young women are women who, they may have been an escort as in the past. They may currently be an escort. Some of them are, I would say adult entertainment or strippers, dancers, exotic dancers. And a lot of them, it's just not enough to strip. It's like they want more and more and more and more. And that's what's getting a lot of these young women caught up. That it's not enough for them to go into the strip club, right?
Yeah.
And strip and make that money stripping and go back home and go about their business. Nope, that's not enough. Now they need more money. Like everything, people want it all, right? It's the greed of it all. Now I'm gonna go strip for a few hours, and after I get done stripping, I need some Johns. So now I'm going to solicit myself, or I'm going to go on some dates, and it's a solicitation process, right? And thinking in their mind that it's they call it a play. It's a quick play. It's a quick come up. It's just a quick way. I'm going on here. I'm gonna find some thirsty men or whatever that's willing to pay a certain amount of money. But the thing is, a lot of these men, they have issues. They have trauma that they done dealt with. They have in their mind that when I get a hold to this young girl, it's gonna be. She might have been looking for a $40 holler or whatever, or whatever, $100, $200, $500. She gonna get way more than what she's bargaining for, and she don't know this is gonna be her last play, And so a lot of them, it's a perfect opportunity for someone who has a hatred. It's a lot of men. They got a real hatred for women because of things that done happen to them, and hate them. And then they take that opportunity. A lot of these young girls are doing that, and I wish there was a campaign on it just alone to tell them, "Hey, no, these aren't the type of plays." Now, you shouldn't be in the adult industry, and I'm not trying to run nobody's life or anything like that, but I just want you to stay alive as long as you can. Okay. So if you're stripping, that's enough. Go home. Don't get on the dating app. And then I need to make a few $100 more. I'm gonna get on here and I'm gonna meet up with this one. The first few guys you might be able to meet up with them, make your little money, and then go about your business and go home in one piece. But that sixth guy, he got another thing. He got something for you, right? It's not going back home. And I'm seeing that happen recently. There's a lot of recent cases. These women are being found. They're being found in abandoned buildings. They're being found under things. They're being, sold into trafficking. They're being tortured. There's a lot of recent cases that I'm seeing come up. And these are young Black women that I'm seeing for the most part, where they were just trying to make a few extra dollars. And and they are just trusting that all I'm going to be doing with this person is I'm going to satisfy their needs, and then they're going to satisfy mine with their cash. But that you're gambling with your life to think you're going to be able to keep going on and on and on, and you're not about to run into nobody is going to try to abduct you, traffic you, or unalive you, or torture and unalive you. You're playing Russian roulette with doing that. Wow. And that's a big issue. That's just a focus that there needs to be a campaign on that alone, where these young women understand the dangers of just putting your life in the hands of somebody else that know from Adam, because you're trying to make a few extra dollars.
Yeah, and it needs to be a conversation. If you're just coming in, we are talking to Pebbles, and she is, I thought at one point, I think I told somebody at the FBI, she don't work with the FBI, she don't work with the government. She had a personal situation that helped her to find the area of interest that she wanted to go into, and she became a investigative journalist.
Yes.
And she's out of Gary, Indiana, and she started helping people. And if you had to put a number on it, like right now, how many people have you helped find since you've been doing this now?
A number on it? I'm going to say
100, 1,000, 500.
More than 300 people for sure. It's been a lot of people.
That's
yeah.
So
a lot of people.
And
So,
it's sad. It's sad. You know, it's something personal for me too. I have had two friends that I lost in my teenage years.
yes.
One of them was like the girl you just described. Wanted to be, you know, we were all out and everything, and she got missing with somebody and never came back. You know, now the second one was a little different because and there are cases like this, y'all. There are cases where there's somebody you know, it's somebody in the family. Because the
Yes.
second one was my friend, and it was devastating. Pebbles. We searched for this girl. We searched for this girl. The whole family. We searched for her. We looked for her all over. Everybody was going through the neighborhood. This was in New York City. We were in Queens. We were searching for, you know, everybody looking. And come to find out, it was the mother's boyfriend. So what he did was, we were all searching and everything. He had her in the closet. So while we were all searching, and when we left to go to the neighborhood, he took her to the rooftop, put her on the rooftop, and she only had socks on. And then
Mm.
eventually the police found her up on the roof, you know. And the sad thing about this case, good God Almighty, was they were able to prove that it was him. And the
Mm.
mother stayed with him.
Mm.
The mother stayed with him. Oh, I was so angry for years and years and years. And you know, I lost contact with the family because I was best friends. She was the best friend of mine when I was young. And this is
Mhm.
before I went off to college. And then I would, you know, close with her sister and everything. And I sometimes be looking on Facebook and everywhere, wondering where her sister is and wondering where
Mhm.
her mother is, and just seeing what happened, because for 10 years or more, she stayed with that man. And I was like, how
Mm.
much in denial do you have to be when they already said that that was his bodily fluids that they found? And there are
Wow.
women out here today that they don't believe their children. They stick with the man. And I know you've seen it. I know you've seen it.
Yes.
It's really hard
Absolutely.
when that happens.
Yes.
And how much of that do you see where it is the child is endangered and they find out it's a family member? And what can you tell people from their experience to help maybe family members to see signs to protect their loved ones?
There isn't a simple solution to this in terms of what I can offer in terms of advice. If you believe that you have a younger cousin, right? You don't have custodial rights to that cousin. This is, your cousin's, daughter or something like that. Or you're an auntie and you're concerned about your niece. Your niece is in, under the care of your sister and you're concerned. I would, first I would advise you, if you can, in a way that it doesn't cause problems or put the child in harm's way. Try to ask some questions, build a rapport. Try to find out what the child or young person will just tell you or disclose, so you can accurately assess what's going on. Because some people, they're quick to call child protective services, and it may be that the child is having some issues that may not be per se the result of some type of physical or essay abuse happening in a home. But try to, and then you could just go with your gut feeling. If you know that your niece, your little cousin, your nephew, et cetera, a student is, they're bruised up, they are experiencing hunger, more hunger than usual,
Oh,
they
oh,
are acting out in different ways. A lot of times they'll have these sexually suggestive sort of remarks that they might make. There's even ways that they act out to show that somebody's been introducing them to something inappropriate. Then of course you want to, we all should be mandated reporters, which are our responsibility for all of us to contact child protective services. But yes, I would advise you to do that. But if you can, if it's possible, try to gather a little bit more, or assess the situation, just so you know what's going on for sure. Or you have some type of certainty. There's no way of knowing for sure, but like more certainty regarding whether the child is being physically abused, emotionally abused, essayed, or is the child just going through something independent? Does that make sense? It's not something that it's not the result of what parents are doing to the child or a guardian or someone close to them. And so, yes, I would definitely advise you to contact Child Protective Services or even the police if you feel that the child may be in danger of, I don't think this child going to make it. And we've seen those cases where someone felt like they had a gut feeling, and then next thing they know, they're walking out their house and there was some type of, a whole situation that unfolded in the household, and then you have a whole family unalived. We see a lot of that too. And then the person will say, "Oh, I had a bad feeling," or "This child was looking terrified. I just had a bad feeling." I mean, go on your gut instincts if you need to at times. Yes.
Wow. Now, and it's happening with a lot of adults too. Adults, but now human trafficking involves the use of force, fraud, coercion, and it has some type of labor or commercial sex act. So are you seeing a lot more? We hear about that, and a lot of people probably don't realize, and I want to talk to you about that if there's ways. I seen something the other day too, and I saw a commercial or something. I think it was a video on social media where they said, and you might have seen it, they said, be careful because they're using children now. You seen that video where they said they're using children to look for you, like a child is acting lost, and then you go to help the child, and then when you go to help the child, they snatch you up. So they have the child, and they send the child out there to lure you. What kind of message? Have you heard about that?
I've heard about it. It's trending in terms of conversations that's being had on Instagram right now. In terms of the frequency, I can't tell you how frequent this is really happening in real time. And I can't tell you that I know of someone who experienced being lured away. So I try not to speak a lot on incidents that I've not been informed about, or I'm not seeing that at least law enforcement. And there's a lot of things that law enforcement are not speaking about or giving press conferences on, but that doesn't mean that it's not happening, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So that could be a little thing of content. That could be some kind of content where they're just doing it. But I would think that would be really dumb to do that. Like, like sometimes when I see the length of what people go through to get likes, shares, and monetize, is ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? Because that just doesn't make sense. But now on that note, what you just said, what are some things that we can do to help publicize more, share more, or ask more, or do more to protect ourselves and protect our friends and our loved ones?
Well, as far as parents are concerned, I believe parents need to be monitoring their children's cell phones, having more restrictions placed on the phone usage. Take those phones at night. Don't let your child have access to their phones, to their devices all night long. A lot of kids they're finding themselves entering chat rooms. They're creating their own dating profiles. They're speaking to people they shouldn't be speaking with for extended period of times because they have this unlimited and access to their tablets, to their devices, right? That they should not have, and parents aren't
paying attention. They're not
paying attention. They're not checking to see. Let me get that phone. Let me see who you're messaging, what's going on. A lot of them have their own cell phone plans, independent of their parents. So parents who their child is under the same cell phone plan as them, then they can keep more tabs on who their child is communicating with. They can get access to the call logs. If something happens, they can say, I know the last number my child dialed because my child is on my phone playing with me. And that actually helped me to locate a child, whereas there was a parent whose child went missing in Anderson, Indiana. And she was crying. She was broken up. Her child went out the window and took off with some guy. And I remember her, she was just all a mess. And I told her, I said, Mom, can you tell me the last number she dialed? She said, yeah, we're on the same cell phone plan. I said, if you tell me the number she dialed, I'm going to find out who she's with, where they at. And lo and behold, she gave me that number, and that's all she need. That's all I needed. When she gave me that number, I looked it up. I got all these little subscriptions where I can look and see who's who, where they live. I found out that her child was with some man in his 30s. Her child had ended up being taken from Anderson, Indiana to St. Louis. And in St. Louis, from there, and I contacted the police. They even got the FBI involved briefly in St. Louis. And they got agents on it and everything to let them know this child hooked up with a man in his 30s. Okay. And I found out that man lived way in California. When I got done airing that man out, I aired out his places that he's lived, his full name, his face, everything about that man. He told that girl to get away from him. And when he told that girl to get away from him, she was in Anderson, reported missing from Anderson, Indiana now. She's in Santa Monica, California, a few weeks later, walking into the police station to let them know, okay, I need to call my mom. I'm ready to go home now. She had to get away from him.
Wow. I
aired everything I could air out about that man. I even found out he had been a pimp, and his ex-girlfriend started airing him out and said, yeah, he tried to pimp me out. Oh, I said, that's all I needed. So having those connections that you need to have, your children should not. I don't think there's anything that they should have
access. They should not have 24-hour access.
Yeah, and they shouldn't have these separate accounts that you're not connected and tabbed into. Separate cell phone accounts and all of that. Nope. You need to know what's going on. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Snapchat, Roblox, Instagram. I'm naming them. Tinder, all of that. Yeah, your child will get on that. Your child is curious. They will get on these dating apps. They lonely. They need somebody to talk to. They're isolated. They get bullied in school. They can't relate to the kids in school. They will absolutely lean more toward an older person, knowing it's an older person, or sometimes not knowing, and they will get in that car. They do it all the time with this older person. All out of loneliness, take off and take a whole chance with their life. It's happening every single day.
And you know, the sad thing about it is some of it is unavoidable if the parents would just pay attention to their child. If they would just pay attention. And I personally feel like these kids don't need these iPhones so young. They got iPhones in elementary school.
Yes, absolutely.
They have that coming up. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What? And like you said, there are child restricted accounts. If it's absolutely necessary for whatever reason, it needs to be a child restricted account. It needs to be more, and the parents need to be more accountable. And we have more younger parents having children, so you know some of that stuff is can't be helped. Now, are there certain questions that people should be asking when they finally do go? Anything that you could offer in regards to the people in any area, whether it's if they have somebody missing, what they need to do first, or if they, who to call first, or anything like that?
Well, there are multiple things that you could do if you have someone or you have discovered that someone is missing, right? Or could be missing. The first thing you should do is, of course, call the police and notify the police. Give them as many details as you can and be honest. A lot of times, missing persons don't get found. The missing person cases, they go cold because family members, their own family members, and I have cases that I'm reported on right now where I've seen that happen, they've hindered the investigation because they're not honestly sharing what's going on. For instance, if someone that you're reporting missing has the tendency to be promiscuous, so to speak, right?
Right.
Or if they live a certain lifestyle, if they have drug addiction problems, if they are bipolar, don't leave that out because you don't want to bring shame on the family, shame on yourself. A lot of times people think of themselves. They think of themselves and how they gonna look. And they'll hold back vital information that keeps these people from being found. I'm seeing it time and time and time again because they're thinking about just themselves. How the family gonna look? I don't want people all in my business, or I don't want police to think I'm not a good parent. So they won't be completely honest about maybe what they were doing and where they were when the child went missing because of those things. And they'll stick to that.
Wow.
And then they'll let months go by, years go by, while they're sticking to these misconceptions and these half-truths that they told that didn't help nobody. It did not help the police find your child. Not being completely honest, withholding information, and it will never help the police or the community find your child, your wife, whoever it is, by not being honest. So be completely honest.
Wow.
It's important that you speak. Speaking does a lot. A flyer does so much. The parents who get their babies to come home, they might be the shyest parent in the world. They turn on that, they go to that Facebook, they hit that go live, and they start shedding them tears. You shed them tears for your child, for your mama, for your daddy. Do it because you need to do it. You will see people coming out of the woodworks to help you.
Wow.
It only does so much. You need to speak. You have to show the urgency of the situation. My mom would tell me if you say you need to go to the hospital, you call 911 and you're somewhere working on homework on the laptop, but you're supposed to be in the emergency room. Oh, you might not be seen for 2 days because obviously it's not that serious.
That's right.
Is it? You go there crying. What's your pain level? 10.
That's right. That's right. Wow. That's crazy.
Then you see a different, it does something to people. You get that response. The parents that I have seen, a lot of them, not saying all of them, that decide, I don't care how much I don't like to deal with social media and speak to people and people see me and all that. I'm going to go live. This is my baby. I may not see my baby again in life if I don't do this.
Yeah.
Somebody going to reach out. It's going to do something to people. Yeah. And they're going to say, I think I had your child in my Lyft ride today. That's your crazy. Child was on this Greyhound bus. I've seen it happen in real time. And they go and they find them kids.
That's crazy because it's happening so much. I have to say in the last few years, I've had a lot of people I know that posted, hey, help, sharing somebody's cousin or something. I'm like, dang, this happened to a lot more people, Now I'm sharing your Facebook page and this is amazing that you created a page, and this is just one platform where you have over 36,000 followers and a place where people are coming and doing it. And on this page, are people able to come and post? If somebody knows you want them to come to this page, this is Facebook. You want them to come and share, or they contact you. How does it work?
Okay, so if someone is missing, I have a group as well. You can share a missing person post to there's a public Facebook group. So I have the page and a group. So you can go to the Missing, Lost and Trafficked Facebook group and share it, and then I'll approve the post as long as it's not like a phishing post, a spam post, and it's a legitimate post and you're trying to find your missing relative or traffic relative, whoever it is, or friend. I'll approve it. When I have moderators, it's not just me. I have moderators who help me with my Facebook page and with the group. As far as the page, you can send a direct message. People send me messages all day long. Hey, I just reported somebody missing. Here's the reference number. Here's the name. Here's the detective. And then they might send me a photo. It could be a photo they have in their phone. It could be a link to a post. You can send direct messages to me on Facebook. And that's where most of the kind of the requests for help come from people reaching out directly to Facebook. They also send messages to Missing, Lost and Trafficked on Instagram. They also send messages to Missing, Lost and Trafficked on TikTok. And there's also a Google Voice number, but I don't like to just say it publicly as much. It's on if you're really serious about contacting me via Google Voice, the number is on the Facebook page in the About section, and it's on Instagram as well. So you can text, you can send me tips, you can send me information on other cases, you can send requests for me to report, or for Missing, Lost and Trafficked, the Missing, Lost and Trafficked community to report and post on different cases that you feel like, hey, more attention needs to be brought to this case, if that makes sense. So there are multiple ways of reaching out.
Wow.
Yeah.
Deirdre, I see what you said. You said parents should school their child on what is safe and what is not safe. And you also were saying that's sad. Thank you for commenting. And
Yes.
You said I saw what you said, those mental issues are real and very dangerous, and that is true. I know that a lot, I was going back to what you said people literally will not divulge information because they don't want people in their business. But then there's other times when they'll put their business out there, for stupid stuff.
Yeah. All the time.
Stupid stuff. So that's really crazy. So you help with homicides and things like that too?
Yes. I assisted a family in Gary, Indiana with an unsolved homicide by meeting up with, he was a really popular coach, and he was set up he decided to take a rideshare ride, like a Lyft ride, just to make a few extra dollars, and he was set up and he was robbed and he was unalived. That happened in the Gary Miller area. I met up with his family, interviewed his family at the very spot that he died at, and then we went over to a gas station and just was a guide to them. They did their own legwork as well. We went over to this gas station, and then they went in. They spoke with, it was a gas station that he had stopped at before he was unalive, after he picked up these passengers. And so the gas station owners were kind enough to look for footage of his car with the individuals who were responsible for unaliving him, found the footage, and actually released that footage, surveillance footage, to the family. It was absolutely amazing how in real time, in a short period of time, there was justice in that case for sure. Released that footage to their family. So, and they were able to release it to the police. And then a few weeks later, we're reading in a paper about how these two Caucasian guys were, had been arrested and charged for unaliving this very popular coach. And I'm glad that me shedding light on the case, using my platform to shed light on the case. Yes, absolutely. And raise awareness and make sure that the public knew the urgency of justice being had for this coach. It was instrumental in kind of facilitating justice, if that makes sense. Because yes, they definitely did their own legwork, but me being there to just witness how all of that played out, going with them as they went they went around the neighborhood just talking to people and asking, did you see, Coach, I don't want to say his name here on live, and what was your interactions with him? And, and I was with them, as they were doing that. It was just amazing to know that, unfortunately, he's no longer here. He was a beloved husband, a father, but he is at least going to get justice, and he did get justice.
That's good.
And so, and there were other homicide cases, whereas I ran across some interesting information or something was sent to me, and then I don't always publicize everything. And I've sent it over to the police, and it just helped them with leads, rather, if that makes sense.
And I have a couple more questions, and I'm not going to keep you too long. But this flyer right here, this flyer, is this the email that they need to send tips and everything to?
Yes, absolutely.
Missing, lost, and trafficked at gmail.com. So if you know of anything right now, and you heard something with Pebbles today, as you can see, she has a passion for this. This is what she does. She doesn't. It's not a hobby for her, guys. This is not just her hobby. This is something she's doing because of something that happened to somebody in her family, and she takes it serious. She's been doing it 40 years. You said
4 years.
Four. Oh,
yeah.
I was like 40. I said, dang, how old is she? Don't look at it.
No, 4.
4 years, and has helped over 300 people. 300 cases that have been solved because of her. And she's not saying that everybody was found unalive, but she helped get to the mystery, to get to the details they need to get to. So if you're having trouble and you're by yourself and you just don't know what to do, send her an email. Send that email to her and ask her questions, I'm sure. Now, you also have a Roku channel. Talk to me about that. Is that something that you want people to tune in and watch? Talk about that.
Absolutely. I am the developer, creator, and producer of Missing, Lost, and Trafficked Investigation. So it's Missing, Lost, Trafficked Investigations. It's a true crime show that began airing in June. So starting June 18th of 2025, these are true crime episodes on various different types of cases, from human trafficking to missing person cases, and homicide cases. We are exploring the circumstances surrounding those cases, and it airs a new episode once a week. Every Wednesday, there's a new episode on Roku TV being uploaded to the channel. And the channel, it's Roku, but the actual channel is called Chaos After Dark with a K. So it's not just Roku. You have to go to Roku and you search for Chaos After Dark with the K. There is a purple icon that will appear. You open the icon, and then you're going to, after you open the icon or download the app, you're going to scroll down to the crime or the documentary section. Okay. So the crime or the documentary section, and you'll look for Missing, Lost, and Trafficked 2025 episodes. And you just pick whichever episode you want to watch. And so this is a great opportunity. And we have been able to be more impactful globally with this opportunity, for sure.
Oh, I'm so proud of you. That is amazing. That is really, really cool. So how did that happen? Was that somebody who saw you on your social media platform, or did you pitch them?
I did not initially send a pitch. This was someone who reached out to me. The channel owner reached out to me and was impressed with my work after having, watched and observed the type of reporting, the investigative reporting that I carry out, and just kind of the way that I go about using multimedia in short form to tell stories as well. Yes.
Well, congratulations to you. That's
Thank you.
Really, really a blessing. I pray that God continues to, increase your territory and allow you to do more and more, and open up more doors for you to help more people.
Yes.
because it's not easy
Absolutely.
being independent. It's not easy being independent, doing stuff on your own, having to have all these subscriptions. They cost money. So
Yes.
monthly subscriptions cost money.
Yes.
And
Yes.
people
It
don't
does.
realize sometimes when people are out here creating content and doing things, they don't realize the stuff that happens in the back, the business side of it. So
No,
I
they
want to
don't.
say congratulations to you. I want to say kudos to you. I see it as a ministry for you too. And
Yes.
I just want to say that this is really truly a blessing. I thank you so much for sharing all the stuff that you've been sharing with us. Is there anything that I did not ask you that you feel as though is important that you want to share?
Well, I just want you all to be very mindful of situational trafficking that's going on. If your child is a frequent runaway, meaning that they they have ran away more than 2 or 3 times in a given year, they're more vulnerable to individuals who may manipulate them, who may try to take advantage of them, individuals that are um, prone to getting in these toxic relationships. If you have self esteem issues and you struggle with that, self esteem, self worth issues, those adult females for sure are more prone to being trafficked. There are young boys
Mm,
that are now, and I'm learning more and more about it. It's happening in southern states, in other states as well. They're more prone to being trafficked as well. And these are, young boys who may not have both parents at home, and aren't in the best financially stable, situations. So please keep that in mind as well. Individuals who lack support, let's be looking out for people who have developmental disabilities, physical handicaps. They're being taken advantage of for sure. So lacking those support networks that they need, people will manipulate or just outright forcefully a lot of times take advantage of these individuals. Check on your loved ones if you're not checking on them, see how they're doing, especially if they are vulnerable, considered to be vulnerable persons. So that's all I would like to say, as we come to a close here. Yes.
So vulnerable. A lot of times, people, if you don't know if they're vulnerable or not, just check out, you know, the situations they wind up always getting themselves in. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
that's how you will know.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
important that we do that. I'm hearing an echo. Is that me or I'm hearing something? You got a second device on? Because I'm hearing myself when I talk.
I don't. I'm not
I'm
sure
hearing
what it
echo.
is.
I just
Yeah.
realized what that is.
Yeah.
But hit the mute button for a minute. Maybe that's what it is. I'm hearing it, and I'm saying I'm hearing an echo with that mute.
Okay.
But I want to say, ladies and gentlemen, this is Pebbles. Find her on Roku. Find her on Roku TV. Find her on all the social media channels under Missing, Lost, and Trafficked. I had to see if that was a word. Trafficked. It's not traffic. It's trafficked. Okay. Missing, Lost, and Trafficked. I had to make sure when I was spelling it, I was like, "Am I spelling this right?" And again, she doesn't work with the FBI. She doesn't work with law enforcement, but she provides information to help individuals to help solve those cases. And a lot of time, and she may have some information. If you're having a hard time, if you don't know what to say or where to go when it comes to somebody being lost, missing, or trafficked, contact her. She has a channel on Roku, so apparently, if you go there, you can see it. It's just not just content for her. Okay, I'm trying to make this clear. This is not just content. This is real life scenario. We wanted to do this today because we wanted you to know that this is really happening. People are being snatched up. They're being snatched up for different reasons, and you know, that's what it's all about. So I thank you, thank you so much, Pebbles. And I really do. I just appreciate you. And
Thank you for having me.
and if something comes up where you want me to do, like if you say, Crystal, can you do this like on a sometime on commercials, or sometimes if you need me to post something or do something, let me know.
I sure will. Thank you so much. I appreciate you for having me on.
I'm going to check out the channel too. And Gary, Indiana, right there, where Michael Jackson and the Jackson 5 is from. That just tickled me because that was my favorite. That was my first concert, the Jackson 5.
Oh,
First
really?
concert I
Okay.
ever went to with the Jackson 5. So when you said Gary, Indiana, that was good. All right,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go because she had a long day. I had a long day too. We'll be back Wednesday, 8 p.m. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's stay in
All right.
contact. If you need me for anything, let me know. If you need me for anything, let me know. Okay. I truly
Thank you.
appreciate you. I do. And
All right. Have a great day.
okay. And it's been real, ladies and gentlemen. You've been watching Story Time. I am Crystal Bodie Smith, your Hope Catalyst. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives. All right. So tune in next time on Story Time, 8 p.m. on Wednesdays, 9 p.m. on Sunday. And we'll see you on the next Story Time. We appreciate you. God bless you. Know what I always say? Keep hope alive. All right. Have
A catalyst for change with the chance to thrive. Crystal is the one to stir up gifts and save lives. You get exposure, promotion, and marketing too. And advertise for business owners just like you. On Storytime, your interview is global. Virtual or in person, just come on the show. Yo, your story matters. Crystals will open the door. 40 years of experience, ready to give you more on Storytime. Get ready for Storytime. Hey, come on.